trailer was parked. I took directly across from there. And you can see from that video and from those actual photographs that that berm very effectively screens any trucks and trailers that will be parked there. In addition, there's an enormous distance. There's more than 2 football fields from the south edge of the road, plus the homes on the south edge of the road are set back another, say, 100 feet. So there's 2.25, 2.5 football fields of distance between our edge of our building and those homes. And between that, in that several hundred feet, is this berm, there's this green area, and there's this distance. And that will mitigate the effects of that industrial use. Not perfectly, of course, but it will mitigate it. And they, as good neighbors, took that into consideration and built a berm this way. I guess I've been alerted that my time is up.
I guess I started mine about 13 seconds late. Thank you for the reminder there, sir. The 5 minutes.
We would respectfully request you give favorable consideration to our petition. Thanks again for your time.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Hearing no further requests to speak, are there any other comments or questions from the Planning Commission?
Well, I can tell you that for me, I'm no more clear now than I was before. I still don't understand why this is even a matter before us. We're talking about a building that meets specifications by our standards, that's been deemed that way, it's been built that way. I've heard nothing to the contrary. I was on the Plan Commission back when this building was brought before us and prior buildings. The berm that keeps coming up into question, as I recall, in the original plans was actually flip-flopped. Yet the berm was closer to the road and the pond was on the inside. And there was a recess period during the Plan Commission that the Duke representatives and Mr. and Mrs. Drake or Mrs. Drake got together and made the agreement to flip the two to make it more aesthetically appealing. So I'm just having a real hard time wrapping my head around what we're even doing here.
Chief, if you don't mind, Mr. President, I do have a comment within the staff report that may help with that addressment. So number 2 within the staff report is actually verbatim with the applicant submittal that I received from Duke. If you don't mind, I can go ahead and read it. The petitioner is informed with the concurrent BZA appeal hearing scheduled for February 2nd, 2017. The petitioner is requesting the 2 development standard waivers and caution that the I-65 PUD ordinance may be interpreted such that Building 8A and specifically the loading berth and truck staging are not in compliance with sections 4.7B and 11.8.
But we've heard to the contrary to that tonight.
Right, they're filing in caution that there may be interpretations to it that they're not in compliance. It's all interpretation at this point.
But we're the ones that interpret it.
Exactly. Well, yes.
And
When you approved it originally.
And it's since been reviewed
Yes.
and found to be in compliance with
Correct. That's where my
interpretation.
determination letter came in, and I sent it to the remonstrators who are here today. And
I've heard nothing from any of them that sways me to think that the building is 550 feet versus 601 or 620.
it's interpretation on where these loading berths and bays are located. We classified it as being located on the building, while others are locating it outside of the building where the 45 feet, which Mr. Emmerich had mentioned, is not part of. So I had requested through Duke Legal, how do they classify these loading areas? Are they indeed on the outside of the building or on the building itself? Precedents from some of their other locations, and how do they classify it? And they classified it as on the building itself too, just as much as Deb Luzier passed.
So being
Plan
on the
Commission.
building puts it beyond that 600.
Beyond the 600 feet. And if you read the text itself, it says within 600 feet, so it kind of voids itself. But regardless, going back to the comment here is, they're filing this in caution that people may interpret it one way versus the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just from my understanding from Duke, this is only, we're only asking, you're only petitioning this waiver for this building,
Yes, sir.
nothing else.
Yes, just those two items. I'm in agreement with what Dennis said.
Members, I hesitate to jump into the middle of this, but it probably needs to be clarified for you that the issue is in fact submitted to the BZA. There's an appeal from the Drakes to the BZA taking issue with the determination made by the director here that the loading berths are more than 600 feet away. So, but the BZA has not heard that issue yet. It's scheduled to hear it here on February the 2nd. So the waiver request that you have here tonight would essentially come into play only if the BZA were to uphold that appeal and in fact determine that the loading berths are less than 600 feet. And thereby then, if you granted the waiver, it would be an approval of the building being, or the loading berths being less than 600 feet away. I don't know if that's helpful at all.
Well, it clarifies maybe some of the procedural things, but I just don't see why this board would want to grant a waiver for something that's in compliance, that we deemed as in compliance. Our director has deemed it, our TAC committee deemed it.
I think on that, no, and, you know, concerning all the discussion that's going around in regards to this agenda item, I think it might be appropriate to table agenda item E. So,
And that was gonna be my next recommendation, was to table it. Let's get the full impact, the full input from all of the commission members. Unfortunately, we've got a few that could not be here tonight, and I'd like for them, because there may be something that they're aware of that I'm not, that can help clarify this. But I'd be so moved to support the table.
all right. On that note, I'll make entertain any motions to table agenda item E.
I'm sorry, was that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
I'd second that motion.
Okay. And all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Thank you for your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Moving on to other business.
Well, we actually have that other item, the zoning
Yeah.
violation.
The item F, that's
Yes,
correct. Yep,
yeah.
I apologize.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Joel Nagel with Bose McKinney and Evans, here on behalf of the staff. And what we're here today, and this shouldn't take up too much time, should be relatively short. Just here today on asking to affirm an order to demolish or repair a property structure located at 307 South Main Street. The property has been cited for numerous unsafe building condition violations. First starting, I think, with the first warning was in July of 2016. There's a second violation in August 22nd, 2016, and another one September 21st. Final violation was just this last October. At that time, the staff drafted up the order, and we came here for a November hearing, which I believe a couple of you were here for. And we explained at that time we were trying to get notice on the owners there who I believe had moved. So the property is, we believe, to the best of our belief, vacant and abandoned. So the property is pretty much, it's in some pretty serious disrepair. You've got some broken windows, you have some mold, you have some roofing issues, And it's been vacant on top of that. So you've got the issue of that being out there with people being able to go in to it possibly and use it for things that we don't want them to use it for. I'm going to have Dave Taylor speak to just the condition of the building and what we're before he speaks, just what we're requesting is a affirmation of the order, and with the affirmation of the order would be a penalty of $5,000 and also just an issuance of a continuing enforcement order.
Thank you.
Good evening. Recently, I gained access to the property through a subcontractor, through the representative of the client who is trying to possess the property. And with my assessment, there is a severe mold issue, there is a severe foundation issue. The property is uninhabitable at this time, and we are recommending it. We are seeking to have it demolished. So at this point, yeah, the house is uninhabitable, and we've got serious concerns with this property.
Great. All right, well, on that note, go ahead and, any questions, comments? Go to the staff report.
Well, I don't have a staff report for this. It would be the same exact item, the
Okay.
same recommendation as last time.
Okay.
But we could impose that $5,000 fine. I know per our discussion last time, we wanted to try to reach out to the property owner yet again. And I believe you have failed to do so. So that's the reason why we're in front of a public hearing to go ahead and impose that.
When you say failed to do so, he was unable to contact him?
Yeah,
Or we just
yeah,
failed?
there's a variety of property addresses for the owner, correct?
Yeah, what we did was, the statute says you have to try to serve them by certified mail, so we served them on various addresses, including, of course, this one. They've all came back as unreturned, not responded. So then the statute says basically, you should try to serve by publication. So that was our next step. Last hearing we came, we said, we've tried to serve them all these different ways, asked for permission then to go to the next step, notice by publication. Subsequently, which we've done in the Lebanon Reporter, have not heard, and I don't believe they're here tonight, but have not heard anything from them. There's a representative from a bank, but other than that, we have not heard from the actual owners, despite now being able to perfect service through the publication.
Okay, so there is a lien holder on the property?
Correct, yes, there's.
Okay. Go ahead and request to speak.
Attorney Ian Flora here again for the mortgage company. Kind of what we talked about last time, there's not a whole lot the mortgage company can do because they're not the rightful owner of the property right now. We do have a sheriff's sale date of March 2nd, at which time we'll be able to try to repair the property ourselves or be in a position to negotiate with the city some of the offers that they have for what to do with the property. But until that point, until March 2nd, there's not much we can do. We anticipate at the sheriff's sale that we will become the owners of the property because given its condition, probably nobody else is silly enough to bid on it. I guess I would ask that the $5,000 penalty be held in abeyance until after March 2nd. In the event that we do buy the property, that's just one more impediment to getting it fixed up. That since the mortgage company can't do anything about it in the meantime, it doesn't put us in a real good position to try to repair the property.
Have
I'm
the mortgage
sorry.
company, have you done any type of preservation to the property at all yet? Has it been inspected by
Well,
preservation?
we're not the title holder until it goes through the judicial process, which we talked about last time. We have gotten the foreclosure judgment. Boone County, unfortunately, doesn't actually sell their properties through their sheriff's department. They use SRI, a private third-party company. The soonest they could get it on the docket after the foreclosure was March 2nd.
But correct me if I'm wrong, though, don't you have some provisions that allow you, if the property's
Well,
been shown abandoned?
and we did have the preservation that did come out and meet with him, which was the first time he said he had been inside.
So the answer to my question is actually yes, you have
Yes,
preservation.
people from the property preservation have been out, have seen the outside. In fact, after they looked at it, they were kind of requesting that possibly the code inspection report for the violations we were here for last time were all external and were very detailed.
Right.
The mortgage lender is kind of requesting that maybe we could get a detailed report like that of what's on the inside of the house that would really allow us that when the March 2nd date comes to kind of hit the ground running as far as repairs. And then I guess my other concern here is just kind of the standard language that you're using in your order, that is a repair or demolish order. I mean, I certainly have no objection to a continuing repair order being placed on the property, but I don't want the word demolished anywhere near it until at least the party in interest that still exists, I guess, which is us, the mortgage company,
Then I could.
still has an
I could certainly
unprotectable
appreciate-
interest.
I could certainly appreciate that from your position. Our position is we want the property to be safeguarded if it's going to be in that held position until the sheriff's sale happens. The property has to be secured.
Right.
And if you're not in a position that you can do that, then we have no other choice but to act upon that. And so that's, I guess.
I have no rebuttal to that point, Mr.
Okay.
Anderson.
Just as a note, guys, the subcontractor that I met with in the house refused to do anything with it due to the condition of the house. He didn't want any part of it.
Did he write that up in any type of a report or anything?
No, he didn't want any part of it whatsoever.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, I haven't been by the property. I think the first time I'm gonna see it is when I drive out of town, so.
Any further questions or comments?
John, can the commission order a board up of the property to secure it?
No, I'd like to defer again to council as to what recommendation you would make that we.
I would just make a recommendation for the entry of the order at this time. There could be some constitutional issues that may arise on that type of action. So at this time, I think a simple entry of the order would be good, as well as a entry of the violation amount, and we could also have a continuous enforcement order to try to get this thing done as quickly as we can.
Okay, and your recommendation then would be, lay that out for us again in an order. What would that recommendation look like?
I think you should have an order from last time. I have a copy here, but the order itself is order to demolish or repair unsafe building premises. I could give you a copy here.
You have this number?
I can send it to you.
Setting out what were the findings. There were some health code violation findings and some other things. So basically just saying the things that need to be repaired in order for it not to be demolished.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other further questions or comments? Chief, do you have anything else? All right. I'll give it a second to be reviewed by the commission members. And this is what was presented to us in November, correct? Okay, the same document, all right, just want to make sure.
Also, per that November discussion, was setting a precedent, since this is really the first ordinance violation that we've run into, is, how do we deal with this from now on? And if we drag it on until March, the sheriff's sale, then, at that point, does it get dragged on to another 3 months? Does it get dragged on to another 3 months? So it's really honestly up to you guys, but you do want to set a precedence at this point.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think we're all in agreement that there's been enough time given, considering the circumstances, so I'll entertain a motion to proceed with the order as presented.
I'll make a motion to proceed with the order as presented.
Is that adequate from your standpoint, council?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion to proceed.
Mr.
Passes.
President, in light of the amount of time we've already spent this evening and the absence of 3 members, we might put off the further discussion on the lighting amendments and public notice requirements.
I don't know, Brittany really was excited to come up and just speak to you guys, and it's gonna be really brief, because,
Okay.
Let's do it.
Brittany, would you like to?
Very, very brief.
Then at least acknowledge that we can put off the discussion on the public notice rules till next month when we have all of our members here.
That sounds good.
So Brittany, would you like to make a update to the requirements there?
So for the LED lighting amendment, I have been working with Council President Eric Miller and going over that and making some additions to it regarding public safety and specifically blue LED lighting. And just moving forward and working on that, so.
Yes.
All right.
Hopefully
Wonderful.
we'll
That-
see
Let me
something
put you
next
on the
month.
spot here. Would any of it affect the lighting on Anson Building 8A? You don't have to answer that.
All right,
Thank you.
All right, and we'll go ahead and skip past the public notice requirements. And on that note, we will go ahead and adjourn at 8:43. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.